Uh-oh. Okay. This, as you're about to see, is Castlevania Legacy of Darkness. Which is a game I like a lot. It's like the only Castlevania game I've actually ever played. I played one other one on the PSP, and it was one of the 2D ones. I'm not sure if it was a port of an older one, or if it was just an original game. But there's a game I've been wanting to replay for a while. I played this way back in the day on the 64, but I didn't have a good way to capture it. I was playing this on an emulator on my PC, which didn't run it anywhere near as well as this looks. I mean, it ran it fine enough, but it just looked really grainy. It looked about as good as it would on the Nintendo 64. This, of course, can only look so good, you know, being what it is. But I'm running this actually as a ROM injection on my Wii U. Which is why it looks so much better. It's running it through the native Nintendo emulator built into the Wii U. Unlike GameCube and Wii titles, which the Wii U can play natively, it does emulate things like Super Nintendo and Game Boy and Nintendo 64. But because it's official, you know, it's the fucking people themselves who know the architecture. You know, it works. This game has to be injected, and so some things kind of don't work with it. One of the issues, as you saw at the beginning, was that this doesn't functionally emulate the saving pack, which would normally be plugged into the Nintendo 64 controller. And so you can't save. Although being the Wii U Virtual Console, we have restore points, which it's inconvenient, it's a little impractical, but we can just save at the save crystals with restore points the way we would save anyway. Meaning that if we die, which, given the way that I like to play this game, will probably be a lot. If you watched me play Shin Megami Tensei 5, you know that I like to just fucking jump around and fall off of things. You know, it's a habit of, you know, playing Mario. But hell, this game frankly has better platforming than Shin Megami Tensei does. But I guess it's more the point of this game, so that's kind of an unfair judgment. That's like saying that Shin Megami Tensei has better RPG mechanics than Grand Theft Auto. Like, I'm sure it does. I'd be disappointed if it didn't. But still, look at this shit, man. This shit looks so good. You know, I played this on the original console. It didn't look anywhere near this good, especially once I got like a newer TV that could still take AV cables and I would plug in my 64 to it. Shit looked really ugly. But because this is running through a, you know, Wii U Virtual Console through an HDMI, the shit looks nice and buttery smooth. And even though my capture card's not that great, since this is a goddamn Nintendo 64 game, it looks, you know, it captures as much as it needs to for a game like this. I would argue that this is probably the best way to play the game. If you have a modded Wii U and you can inject it onto like Majora's Mask or Excitebike, I think are the recommended games. This is definitely the way to play something like this.
This man-beast warrior obtained a physical body of near immortality.
Blue Crescent Moon.
That surpasses that of a wild beast. The man-beasts choosing to live harmoniously.
If you've ever looked up Castlevania or 64 games on the internet, you've probably heard of this game and you've probably heard that it sucks.
However, severe ascetic training.
I mean, it was a definite commercial failure. Not that I understood any of that shit as a kid when this game came out, but
After a year of traveling and ascetic training, Cornell
Ascetic
rushed back
training.
to his village, only to find that evil spirits had set the village on fire.
After 3 weeks of
engulfing
dieting
the
and
village in
fasting,
the lotus flower of flames.
he went back to Facebook to brag about it,
His only living blood
only to
relative,
find that his sister
Ada,
was
carried
killed by
away
Dracula.
the evil spirits. Now he must save
He was
her.
like, oh shit.
Cornell uses the man-wolf's acute sense of smell to track the scent of his sister's blood. Reinhard Schneider, Carrie Fernandez. We go
But yeah,
back
you've
to
probably
the
heard
years in
not the
time,
best things about this
before the
game.
period in which these two young
You've either heard
warriors
things that
were
are very bad about this game, or you've heard things that are coming clearly from somebody
that has been
trying to say,
shrouded
no, this
in
game doesn't suck.
darkness will be revealed.
Whoops. I guess I was just sitting there for a minute. But now the game actually starts. I've tried to find a way to run this game on the Wii U for a while. Emulating it on PC is pretty easy, but it doesn't run as well, especially on my shitty PC that I've got. It's just like a, basic all-in-one thing, so it's definitely not oriented to gaming or anything like that. Even something like this, obviously, apparently. But, it worked. And being able to remap and customize controls on there completely meant being able to relegate the camera controls to function like a modern 2D, or like a modern 3D game, which isn't really possible with the way the game's originally programmed. So, I figured if I was gonna be at the mercy of the native controls, which you can reconfigure controls on the Wii U Virtual Console, but not to the extent that you can on like a PC emulator like Mupen or something like that, or Mugen or whatever it's called. So it's not really worth remapping it since you can't do it like the ideal way, or at least the way that I was using it before. So I figured if I was going to be at the mercy of, and yeah, see, we can't save. But what we can do, and you can see I already had some restore points going on here. We could just save at the restore points. And honestly, I've played and beaten this game enough times to where if I die, I'm fine with restarting the level. You know what I mean? Because if I restart from a restore point, it'll basically be cheating because I'll get to keep, whatever upgrades and shit that I had at that time. So, it just depends how I feel like playing. It's not like I got anything to prove with this game. I'm really just playing it for nostalgic reasons more than anything. Yeah, see, like, camera controls suck. Because they're relegated to the D-pad as opposed to, like, being able to be programmed to a control stick. But yeah, since I can't change it the way I want, and since I'm stuck playing the way I figured the best way to play it would be just with the controls as they are. So I figured why not just play with an actual 64 controller. Which I can do thanks to the fact that I am playing on a modded Wii U. I already have a couple of Nintendo Switch Online 64 controllers, and through a homebrew software called Blue Pair, you are able to pair modern controllers like Xbox, PlayStation controllers, and Switch controllers to the Wii U. So it was just a matter of launching the software, which just loads you back into the Wii U menu, and then just pairing my N64 controller. So I am actually playing this the way I did growing up with an N64 controller. Which is outdated as the controls might be. Playing them on the controller that they were designed for definitely helps. To this day, if you can play Mario 64 on a 64 controller, if you have Nintendo Switch Online and could get access to one of these controllers, I know it's a fucking pain in the ass. I was gonna buy one like a year ago, and kind of hesitated because I didn't want to spend the $50 on it. So I didn't buy one. My friend got one though. Came over to my house. We played some Switch games with it, and I was just like, fuck. I decided I wanted to get one, and of course it was sold out. It didn't restock for like another 6 months, which would have been about a month ago, something like that now. Oh, that always happens. No matter how many times I've replayed through this whole game, I always hit that shit. So I waited for it to restock, and that was like about a month ago, like I said. I ordered 2, and then just a couple of days later, I checked again to see if they had sold out already, and of course they did. I'm hoping maybe by like the end of the year, in another 6 months or so, they'll be restocked, and I'll probably buy another 2 just to have, you know, the 4. 'Cause why not? And for games like Super Mario 64, especially, like I said, shit. I can't not play it with the 64 controller, you know? I mean, I've played it and beat it before with just like a Wii U Pro controller. But like on the Switch, I played a little bit of it with the Switch Pro controller, and yeah, I could do it because I'm good at Mario 64, but I mean, this controller was literally designed with that game in mind, you know? Whoops. What happened? Oh. Yeah, I'm not used to this button layout because the most recent time I played this game, like I said, was on an emulator. And yeah, if you've seen this game, you know, you've probably noticed some of the problems with like the emulation on the Virtual Console. Like them little donuts when I'm shooting my attack, those aren't supposed to be there. That's supposed to be more like a pulse, you know? It's supposed to seem more mystical, I guess, more transparent. But it's just not generating it well. And same thing with like a lot of this stuff being invisible. For some reason, this button is programmed to both pick shit up and throw axes. There might be something wrong with the way my stuff's configured. Because the down C should be to throw the items, which it is. But the right C is doing both. So thankfully this does have a ZR button, which is the button you need to pinpoint this. So it looks like it thinks that I'm playing with a Pro controller. Did I reconfigure this in some way? It doesn't seem like it can recognize the controller that I'm using, but like every other button seems to be doing just what it needs to. But it's that button that seems to be kind of fucked off. Come on now. Hopefully we can get that fixed, because that will be kind of an issue. These items can be pretty useful. And yeah, you know, items dropping and being invisible for a second. I think they're just like overlapping with like whatever I'm breaking them out of. Like when I bust open a torch and like some chicken falls out of it and it's invisible for a second. I think it's because the you know, the image or the texture for the torch hasn't completely gone away yet. And so it's just kind of, it's not visible, but it's blocking, you know, whatever it is that you dropped. But I mean, that's basically inconsequential. It doesn't look as pretty, but it functions just the same. And I can play it with the fucking 64 controller, so I mean, it's real nice. But yeah, I'm trying to breathe some life into my Wii U again, you know. I'm a little late to the whole Wii U modding party, but most of what you can benefit from with modding a Wii U is stuff that I could already do on the Wii U anyway, at least as far as I was concerned. You know, having access to old school games and stuff like that. Yeah, see, because the down button only throws the thing, but the down C only throws shit. But the right C will do both. It's kind of annoying, but whatever. Gonna fight the big tiger motherfucker here. Open that gate back there. So this game, it does get kind of challenging towards the later end of it. Especially when you play as like the Reinhardt and Carrie story. It's mostly the same as the Cornell story, but it's a little more challenging, I think. And you can eventually unlock the hard mode for this too. Which, I mean, we already know how I feel about hard mode from the last playthrough. But given my history with this game, I mean, I may as well. Jesus Christ. Fucking Skyrim goblins over here. This must be what NPCs in Skyrim feel like fighting against me. And yeah, you could see like the outline of the torch still, like around the dust, like the invisible silhouette. There's some speedrunning strats that you can implement over here that I'm not going to because I'm not comfortable doing them. I've done them like once or twice, but this isn't a game that I've necessarily done anything near practice when it comes to like speedrunning and shit, you know. I've got my own little tricks just that I've developed through countless replays of this game, you know. All things considered, like I said, even with some of those texture pop-in issues and stuff like that. I mean, hell. I saw worse texture pop-in Shin Megami Tensei 5, and that was a fucking $642 retail game that I fucking downloaded first party. Right, you can excuse this being a fucking fan injection, right, doing what Nintendo wouldn't do for not working perfectly. But that shit was straight up made by the people themselves. Sega, Atlas, Nintendo, and all that shit. And it was still just, like, mediocre. They could have compromised on some shit if what they wanted was, like, immersion and good visuals. But, I mean, hey, I enjoyed it. It looked good. It just didn't perform well. Throw that shit on the PC and it'll probably look fucking fantastic. Man, I love just being able to use a Nintendo 64 controller again, though. With it being the first console I ever owned, you know, it's just... It's like I'm 5 years old again. Like I said, I bought the 2, although the 1 hasn't been taken out of the box yet. It will eventually. I plan on it being one that I use. As for the other 2, I don't see myself ever needing more, right, like, I'll have my Player 2 controller if someone wants to, like, play some GoldenEye or some shit for sure. But anything past that, it's just like, alright, you can use a Joy-Con or a Pro controller or some shit, you know? Like, if you want a Nintendo 64 controller, get your own. I mean, there's no point in even picking up the fucking... I guess I may as well just use these, huh? And in this game, like I assume in a lot of Castlevania games, the axe are, of course, the best weapon. But yeah, going back to the point that I started and never finished, you know, as far as like this being a bad game, a lot of that mostly just comes from like release issues. I mean, you can watch some like, I think Did You Know Gaming may have touched on, you know, some of the things with Castlevania 64 at some point or another scattered throughout like all their videos, you know. But you can find some dedicated videos out there talking about this game and the history with it if you care about all that. But basically, this game just fucked around for too long, didn't come out when it should have, and by the time it finally did, people were just over it already. And most of its bad rap comes from that. That and the, you know, that and the fact that they did try to rush something out to kind of like mitigate it, like, don't worry, the game's coming. So they dropped Castlevania 64, which just was bad, right? Legacy of Darkness is a sequel just because it had to be, just because the nature of the Nintendo 64. There was no such thing as like DLC or online patches or anything, you know what I mean? So all they could do was just release a new game. So this game is a sequel solely by circumstance. The reason I'm not even bothering to play Castlevania 64 is because this game has Castlevania 64 built into it, basically. Castlevania 64 is just the... Yikes! Jeez Louise, I better be careful going into Dracula's castle, huh? How they expect some kids to read shit that fast? Oh my goodness, he just opened up this gate with one arm. And fucking clunk that shit locked. Even a man-wolf is nothing but a trapped dog in a cage. Arf, arf, arf. I'm the dog here, motherfucker. Ortega, you're okay. Arf, arf, arf. Saw the village go down. I thought you were dead. Oh, I know the village burned down. I'm the one who lit the fire. Are you really Ortega? It's been 1 year since I lost to you. Now I'm gonna fight you again. Bro, our village, my sister. Are you listening to me? I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, Kakarot. What are you saying? You working for Dracula? Very dramatic story. But yeah, minus, you know, some updates to like certain stages and the overall gameplay experience, it's the exact same thing. Legacy of Darkness, ultimately, it's more of a definitive edition than a sequel. If you want to just experience it, if you want to play the original, I mean, you can. You know, if you want to just play every Castlevania game or every 64 game or whatever, you can. The only reason I ever played Castlevania 64 growing up at all is because I'm old enough to where, you know, I still remember a point in time that, oh shit, let me create a restore point. I'm going to create one in here, even though this isn't where the save crystal is. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to load from here. Just to make sure it works, just because I'm paranoid. It's not like I have a save file, you know? And yeah, clearly I'm familiar with the shit that's going on here. And considering my most recent playthrough of this was like not even a year ago, I'm kind of refreshed on it. Oh no, shit. Oh hey, look at that. I could have sworn I was gonna be dead after that shit. Oh my goodness. Alright. Shit, that was my head. Okay. Anyway, so the Legacy of Darkness, I think it's the only one you need to play because it's what the game should have always been to begin with. Right, it was always going to be a game with 4 characters, 4 separate stories, and all this and that. It got cut down to 2, just Carrie and Reinhardt. You know, for time constraints, they cut the... I forgot what the original stories were, but, you know, the characters ended up getting replaced. And this game starts with Cornell, which, you know, this part of the story serves as basically a prequel, right? It's like 8 or 10 years or something like that before Castlevania 64 takes place, the original one. Or rather, where the Carrie and Reinhardt stories take place. When you beat the game with Cornell, you unlock a character called Henry. And in beating the game with him, you unlock Reinhardt, and then I think you have to beat the game in under certain conditions. You either have to beat Henry's story under certain conditions or Reinhardt's under certain conditions to unlock Carrie. Which Carrie's is pretty much just It's pretty much just Reinhardt's story again. They're like two sides of that same story. It's like some Jill and Chris shit from Resident Evil. Hey, look at that. They're not as useful here, but whatever. Whoa, hey. Oh, shit. Okay. I know the endings on like the original character stories are based off of like how much time you spend. I don't know if that's the case with Cornell. You gotta be kind of dragging ass to get the bad ending, I think, personally. I mean, again, I have played this game before, so. Oh, shit. So we're... Haha. We need this lever to open up the next shit. But yeah, on top of all the things with it not releasing when it was supposed to, all the stuff that it got cut like that, you know, on top of it just taking too long to come out, you know, games like Ocarina of Time and whatnot had already dropped, you know what I mean? The standard for 3D platformer had already really been raised too high, you know? Let me eat some chicken. Apparently, I mean, and I never understood as a kid why, you know, chicken would come out of torches, but, you know, I understand now as a more cultured adult that that's just Castlevania logic. Chickens always come out of torches. Why wouldn't chicken come out of a torch? It's Dracula's castle, after all. Silly me. Well, this is just no good. Yeah, there's a lot of like time-based events. I don't really understand what the point of throwing in that was. It seems like just a filler obstacle. You have like the sun and moon cards, which can be used to, you know, change between night and day. Which they're really only good for these types of doors, which kind of sucks. Again, especially since it keeps track of like how many days you're playing in-game for like the certain story aspects especially. I guess we can run through this again. There might be like a sun card or something hidden somewhere. I have a moon card, but that doesn't help me at all. I'd have to fall down there. Well, shit. I guess we'll restart the stage. Fuck it. It's more fair that way, because when you die, you're not supposed to keep your things. And I mean, it could be like a good handicap for me, who's somebody that already knows this game pretty well. It's not like it's my first time playing it, so it'll force me to be more careful. Because if you can't tell by the way I'm playing already, I like to do some silly shit. It's that Mario itch, you know what I'm saying? That shit's going straight into my neck. Imagine if someone came and drop kicked me in that moment. Just fucking... Wouldn't that be wild? Okay, I'll save. Nothing to boost here anyway. Actually, there is... Whoops. There's this guy. There's that moon card. Shit was looking a little stuttery there for a second, but that's just the game. That would happen even on native hardware. Oh, I forgot to press the button. But now we're just stuck waiting again. Yeah, and you know, this mechanic I feel like is just a product of its time. It's just like, we need something to fill the time in. Zelda has day and night mechanics. Doesn't really change anything but like how towns generate though. Like, it just changes whether you go into a town at night or in the day. The only thing that really revolves with day and night in Ocarina of Time that I can remember is just Skulltulas anyway. And then, you know, in Hyrule Field, fucking stall children will show up. Well, this is certainly no good. I don't think I've ever been in this situation before. I guess I've always been lucky enough to pick up a sun card. Or no, yeah, well, that's what we were going to go back over here for. And we will just go for a regular-ass restore point. I don't give a fuck. Because I need to try to get up to this shit. Is it where the falling bridge is? It looks like it. No, because this is the falling bridge. It was another connected stretch of bridge, it looked like. Yeah, right here. Oh yeah, and there's a secret path to that walkway. When you're replaying this game as Henry, there's going to be a hidden child there. Spoiler warning. That part of the game is actually... That part of the game is actually really fun, I think. I didn't like it as much as a kid because it was so tense. But I mean, that's kind of what I like about it now. Oh, good lord. Alright. So what... God damn you. Alright, yeah, so we're just coming up to here. Is this where the sun card is? Yeah. See, I knew there was something. I remembered. But yeah, this is the most inconvenient mechanic, you know, with the game. If you hear anybody complain about the fucking sun and moon card mechanic in this shit, they are not exaggerating. It boils down to being mostly just unnecessary, just obstacle fodder, I guess. I don't even know what you would call it. It's just filler, you know. That's to say, if you took the mechanic, the day and night mechanic out of the game, you would lose literally nothing. The only reason it even exists is to track, I think, just how many in-game days it took you to complete it, and that determines whether or not you get like a good or bad ending. Which, like I said, if I remember right, you gotta be doing pretty bad to, you know, get like the bad ending, I think. And this should be a boss fight right here. I'm saving. Well, actually, let's do this shit properly. Haha. Just in case. That way it'll be quick and snappy. Jesus. I probably should have brought the cross for this one. Come on, guy. It's a good thing I brought some chicken with me. Always gotta have some fucking chicken. really got to find out if that's just something with this controller or what, or if it's like some shit with blue pair. Because that's going to be an issue. I do not want to be wasting fucking... You don't need the special items. You can get by without them. You can go with just your regular attack, especially the powered up variation. But, man, those items, especially on some boss fights, can cut a lot of time if nothing else. Jesus Christ, I failed at that twice. Break that rock. See, like, look at this shit. It's all about to go to waste. Well, at least I got to keep some of them. The way down should be the same regardless, yeah. The power-up won't respawn, but we have the third one, yeah. So that just opens up everything up to... Excuse me? What did I fuck up here? Jesus Christ, see, every time I open a door, it's just gonna waste that shit. Yeah. This shit is moving in slow motion, which is typical for this game. I don't think that's a performance. I don't think that's a performance thing. At least, you know, on the Wii U's part. But yeah, this game's got a lot to be praised, though. Like a lot of N64 games, this is one of those games that, like, almost had, like, breakthrough controls and shit like that. But it just... You know, whether it was because of just the time that it came out, the console it came out on, whatever. Let me try this shit again, I guess. Just interact with the Switch. So if I do this again, will it open them? No, it's because the one was open, so when I opened the other one, they both went back. But now if they're both good, then I just go open the other one again. But yeah, this game almost had like breakthrough controls, but just, you know, given that the N64 didn't have like dual stick controls and it didn't have a good way to operate both the D-pad as well as the control stick, it just, you know. Again, it's not too bad if you're playing on the hardware. Oh shit. Oops. Well, that's a day. It's not too bad if you're playing on the hardware, like playing on an actual Nintendo 64 controller mitigates a lot of the issues with it. But you know, if you're playing it on like a modern controller, if you're playing it on an emulator that lets you fully customize the controls, you can get really good control setups with this game that make it feel like a whole different experience. But you know, as far as a lot of the game's design, with the type of game that it is, considering it's not like a Zelda game in terms of shit. Alright, we are restoring. Yeah, this is fair going back to the boss fight, right? Gotta get something out of it at least. Still quickened up the process, see? Alright, let me eat some chicken. Actually, fuck it. Roast beef. That's all we need. Just pick up the fucking gems, my guy. The jewels, my dude. The crystals, good sir. Oops. I didn't operate the goddamn switch, did I? Boy, I am fucking up. Well, oh well. Fuck these hoes. Yikes. See what I was talking about? All this dying shit. It's like I know better, it's just I can't help but try to go as fucking quick with this shit. Like, makes me wish I had Cappy, you know what I'm saying? Never even never even played that game, really. I promise I'm good at this game. I really am. Get the fuck away from me, you guys. You guys. Just kill him. Eat the food. Eat the fucking food. This is about as in-depth as the combat's gonna get, also. You piece of fuck. Oh, well, at least there's another one. Huh. There I go again. Look at me. I don't even know why I bothered picking that shit up. Okay. So this will close the two, or this will close the other one, so now they're both closed, which means that if I go operate the other one, they'll both open. But yeah, if you don't hold this game to like the scrutiny of things that it can't help, right? Like this game, you know, yeah, this game is an old school 2D Castlevania. Yeah, this game isn't, you know, Ocarina of Time, but it's not supposed to be. It's something else, right? It loses a lot of its identity in all the comparisons, not only to other games in its series, but to other 3D platformers on the console at the time. But if you just, you know, take it for what it is and you judge it fairly just based on that, you know, it's a good game. It's one of my favorite soundtracks. And as far as the gameplay goes, you know, there's solid platforming and the exploration, especially upon revisiting this game, especially as many times as I have, you know, God. All right. You know, it can get a little kind of stale, but this world, you know, it's pretty lovingly built, especially once you get to the Via past this point. and everything, you know, up to that. It's nice. It's real nice. And the soundtrack is real atmospheric, you know. I can see why a lot of people, you know, like longtime fans especially, may have been disappointed with the soundtrack. I've heard a lot of complaints about that. And yeah, if you were expecting some fucking vampire killer fucking Castlevania bullshit, yeah, you know, this game is real mellow compared to that. But again, you know, if you appreciate it as what it is and, you know, for the job that it serves in its own world, it's very nice. So now this should open them both. I'm talking like I haven't played this game a bunch of fucking times, but I mean, that's what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? It's, you play through these games and you just forget shit, you just do it. It's like playing the game for the first time all over again. And yeah, see, there we go. Most of the stuff that you do is along these lines. It's a little tedious, you know. And if you're used to like modern video game worlds, and if you're used to like how games and worlds like this operate, you know, it won't seem as expansive as it's trying to make itself out to be. But again, you know, it's just one of those things. All right. We'll go ahead and call it at that too. This game is a lot shorter than something like Shin Megami Tensei is. After this, right, the V has got its own good section, but then there's like a difficulty spike after that with like some good harder levels, and then it's the end game. You know, the entirety of this game, given I, you know, considering I play it with everybody, shouldn't take more than a couple of dozen episodes. I don't see the Cornell stuff, for example, taking much longer than, you know, this is already, we're looking at like the 15% mark of this story, right? The VIA will make up like the next 15%, and then you get like a good 30%, and then, well, no, honestly, the VIA and like its connected levels will make up like the next 40-50% of the game. And then you've basically got the home stretch in the end game itself. But we'll see about that all in the next time. Oh shit.